Hello, everyone. We are getting ready for our narrative essay, and I want to go over this Prezi with you. I know I shared it earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and go over it with you now as well. So, um, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Here's what happened. I want to let you know that I'm using, for this Prezi, I used two different textbooks, one that you're using now and another one that I've used in the past, but the ideas are very similar. They cross over, so I just went ahead and used both and wanted to let you all know I did that. What is a narrative? Normally, I don't read an entire a paragraph on a Prezi or a PowerPoint, but this time I am. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I will because I really think it captures the meaning of a narrative, and it's very nicely stated. A narrative is a kind of writing that presents events in some kind of time sequence with a distinct beginning, middle, and ending, but not necessarily in strict chronological order, and that is written for the purpose of making a point. That is, to write a narrative, it is not enough to simply report a sequence of events, which is what children do when they tell stories. Narrative essays, especially in college, are meaningful ways of making sense of our experiences, of what goes on around us, and of illustrating a point, making an argument, or writing about the lives of others. So it's nicely stated. Um, it is an academic essay, even though I view the narrative as an icebreaker of sorts. It is an academic essay. It's one that I feel that students are a little bit more comfortable in writing right there at the very beginning. It's something that you're familiar with. You're telling a story. Something happened in your life, a vacation. Um, a family holiday of some sort, or maybe a story that you heard from an older family member. You can write about that if you wanted to. The possibilities are just certainly endless here. I mean, you can certainly write about anything that you want to write about as long as you're comfortable writing about it and sharing it with others. The is something that's very important to consider as well. Being comfortable writing about the particular topic that you want to discuss, and we look forward to reading the narrative, or I look forward to reading it. I know you all have already shared the topic in the discussion board, but I'm looking forward to reading your narratives. Let's go and take a look at the next screen. Narratives are really found everywhere, really, when you think about it. I mean, it's just not only in your English class, it's going to be in history. I mean, when you think about it, history is full of narratives. That's how we have history, after all. It was seen in the medical, science field, family, media, as narratives surface in numerous areas. And in many cultures and communities, that is the way stories are handed down. That's the way history is made. Um, Also, and really something that I think that this textbook had pointed out that I think is really interesting is that you must see a narrative surface in a review for a book or a movie. Maybe perhaps a movie or a book touched a person a certain way, and then that person starts sharing a narrative of some sort. So really, in just all sorts of different places, you will see narrative surface. Um, Certain things that I'm looking for in a narrative, and here's what they are. A clearly identified event. What happened? Who was involved? A clearly described setting. When and where did it happen? Vivid descriptive details. What makes the story come alive? A consistent point of view. Who's telling the story? And most of the time, I mean, it's going to be in first person. A clear point. Why does the story even matter? So let's take a look at these a little bit more closely. The setting. You want to have some sort of setting, in some sort of chronological order, whether it's traditional chronological order or if it is in reverse chronological order. Whatever makes sense is what you need to choose, depending on the topic that you have chosen. Descriptive details, I would say, are extremely important for a narrative. You're painting a picture with your words. You are showing rather than telling your audience what had happened. So you really want to make it come alive. And of course, it is the writer's responsibility to make that story come alive. A consistent point of view, first person, third person. Um, uh, Most of the time it's going to be in first person, and I am okay if you use the pronoun I. I always caution my students to not overdo that first person, but I know in a narrative it's kind of hard to get away from that because you are telling a story that you went through firsthand. So you are going to be writing a little bit in first person when it comes to this narrative. A clear point. Why does the story even matter? And if you pick something that is important to you, why it matters is definitely going to surface. What I mentioned too in a narrative, sometimes the thesis statement is stated or implied even. I will go over a typical essay structure. Well, it says here on the board, but I will actually shared that already on Blackboard, so you all can take a look at that. But your thesis statement, you can actually get away with an implied thesis statement for your narrative. Now, for the other papers that are coming up, you do need to have a defined thesis statement. And then in the introductory paragraph, it usually appears toward the end of the introductory paragraph. But we will have a thesis statement workshop online. I will give you a video or share a video like this with you all for you all to look and see, what a thesis statement should look like and what it should not look like. But for your narrative, you can get away with an implied one, like I'd already said. Literacy narratives, that is another option that you can choose. A literacy narrative is an account of your or someone else's experiences with some kind of reading or writing. Maybe you might want to choose a topic about a time where you learned how to write music. Or read music, computer coding, learning a foreign language. Um, so that's another option that you can definitely consider and would be appropriate for this assignment. Okay, here's a roadmap. Let's take a look at this. You will need to, and I already mentioned this, you will need to choose an experience or event that you feel comfortable sharing in some detail with an audience. And the audience, of course, is going to be me. And you already shared your topic with your classmates. Consider other factors as well. The rhetorical situation. The rhetorical situation, you're going to hear this quite often in any English class, actually. That means that you are thinking about what it is that you're writing in a larger context. You're going to be thinking about the audience. You're going to be thinking about the purpose, stance. You're considering the larger context, like I just mentioned, and how you're going to design your paper, how you're going to organize your paper, all depends on rhetorical situation. Rhetorical situation also includes the time era. You're talking maybe about a historical event or or something like that, and it's all things are different depending upon the time era in which it took place in. So that is something else too that you need to consider when you are thinking about the rhetorical situation. Decide on a point of view is going to probably be first person. keep that organization in mind, keep your main point in mind, look critically at your draft, revise and edit, of course, um, and and then look at it again. You might want to write a little bit and then just put it away. And then wait another day or so later and then look at it again. And whenever you do that, you see it in a different light. Also, too, whenever you read your paper aloud, you can hear those mistakes so much better. You can hear the flow of the paper better if you read it aloud. That is something that I wanted to mention, and I think it's also in your prompt as well. Good luck in writing this narrative. I look forward to reading them. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.